Royal Steward's here, first prototype, and my wife Lori's gonna help me open it. So here are all the components of Royal Steward laid out on a tabletop. We have tiles, which are used to represent various objects and buildings, such as an iron pot, a hand cart, cargo ships, other things. We have person tokens, which the player uses to represent where they are at on the terrain board, as well as the scoreboard. We have the inventory boards, which represent all the various resources you can have in Royal Steward. There's also ones that represent tools and animals. We have various dice for some of the random aspects of the game. There are inventory tokens, which are used to keep track of quantity. We also have little person-looking tokens here to represent, again, different things on the terrain board. Then we have these little shards, they're called, which we're using to represent various monies. There's also one for representing begging tokens. If I zoom in there, you can see. So there's different quantities of the silver pieces. There's also bonus points in case you exceed the capacity of the game board, which goes up to 50. At the top of the game board there, you'll notice it shows the seasons and the current turn. Toward the bottom of the game board, we have what's called the movement tracker and carrying capacity tracker. Movement tracker helps aid with traveling on the terrain board, and the capacity tracker helps keep track of how many things you can obtain while you're moving on the terrain board. Here is the terrain board, which will randomly be generated at the start of the game, and will have a slew of different terrain types. And at the top of the game board, we have the occupation tracker. It keeps track of all 55 occupations that are available and determines who has played which occupations during the game. And since there are 12 turns, each player will have 12 markers on that board. If we come around to the other side of the table here, we have the Occupations and Actions Manual, which describes in detail the various actions each occupation can perform. Just to show you a few of them here. It tells the tools that are required, what resources are consumed by the occupation performing that action, and what is produced. And then, of course, the most important column, the points. So that's how many points are scored for performing the action. And finally, we have the actual instruction manual describing how to play the game. And since this is our first prototype, this will be updated quite a bit, I'm sure. And then, of course, we have the Royal Steward game box.